You have watched this legendary Gunsmoke scene a dozen times, but you never saw the one thing that was not supposed to be there. This single, unexposed moment almost changed the history of TV westerns forever. And once you see it, Dodge City will never look the same. Think about it. Every single week, for 2 decades, millions of families gathered around their television sets to watch Marshal Matt Dillon walk out onto the dusty street of Dodge City, Kansas. It was a holy ritual of American entertainment. The wind would howl, the wooden signs of a Long Branch saloon would creak, and an unidentified gunslinger in black would step into the frame. They would exchange cold, unwavering stares. Then, in the blink of an eye, shots would ring out. The challenger would fall, and Matt Dillon would stand victorious. It was the ultimate symbol of law and order in a wild, lawless land. But behind that carefully constructed illusion of the 1870s American frontier lay a chaotic production environment where mistakes were bound to happen. And sometimes, those mistakes made it all the way to the final broadcast print. To understand why these moments are so fascinating, we have to look at the sheer scale of what Gunsmoke was trying to accomplish. Starting in 1955, this massive production was a beast that consumed scripts, film stock, and physical labor at an unprecedented rate. It was television's first true adult western, transitioning from a highly successful radio program to a visual medium that required absolute historical accuracy. CBS poured staggering amounts of money into building massive, detailed outdoor sets, hiring top-tier stunt coordinators, and securing authentic, period-accurate clothing, saddles, and weaponry. But they were operating in a time before digital editing, before computer-generated imagery, and crucially, before high-definition television. The editors of the 1950s and 60s worked with physical film reels on small, low-resolution editing machines. They were cutting together episodes meant to be broadcast on heavy, low-resolution vacuum tube television sets. If a detail was small enough, or passed by quickly enough, it was practically invisible to the human eye on a 15-inch screen. Because of this technological limitation, the creators of Gunsmoke felt a sense of security. They assumed that if something minor went wrong in the background of a shot, nobody would ever notice. But they never anticipated the advent of high-definition remastering, widescreen television, and streaming media. Today, we are viewing these classic episodes in resolutions that would have seemed like science fiction to the original crew. And because of this, modern viewers are discovering a treasure trove of hidden mistakes and bizarre anomalies that break the historic illusion of Dodge City. The most shocking example occurs in a highly rated Season 7 episode from 1961 titled A Man a Day. In this tense, dramatic episode, the camera focuses on Deputy Chester Good, played by the brilliant Dennis Weaver. As Chester stands outside, looking out over the expansive, rugged Kansas landscape, the scene feels completely immersive. You can almost feel the heat of the prairie and the dry dust in the air. But if you look closely at the upper right corner of the frame, cutting directly through the clear blue sky, there is a fast-moving metallic silver object, leaving a thin white trail behind it. It is unmistakably a modern commercial jet airplane, flying high above the Old West. In 1961, this plane would have been a tiny, blurry speck on a standard living room television. But in the remastered, high-definition versions of today, it is a glaring, unmistakable anachronism. A massive metal bird flying through the sky 30 years before the Wright brothers were even born. This was not an isolated incident either. Once fans started looking closer, they began to spot other modern intrusions that the editors completely missed. In various episodes, eagle-eyed viewers can spot background actors casually wearing modern leather-banded wristwatches, stuntmen sporting sneakers with rubber soles instead of period-accurate leather boots, and even the distant metallic glint of 1950s automobiles parked just beyond the edge of the physical set during wide outdoor shots. These mistakes were essentially unexposed secrets, preserved forever on the original film stock, waiting for the technology of the future to finally reveal them to the world. But wait. If you think a stray airplane in the sky or a modern wristwatch was the biggest mistake to escape the editing room, you are dead wrong. There is another, far more shocking sequence that CBS network executives desperately try to lock away in a vault. It was not just a technical oversight. It was an intentional, hilarious act of mutiny by James Arness himself that flipped the entire opening sequence on its head. If this footage had been broadcast instead of the approved cut, it would have killed the show's credibility instantly. We are talking about the secret, forbidden death of Marshal Matt Dillon. This incredible moment took place during the filming of the show's 12th season, which marked a massive milestone for Gunsmoke. The series was finally transitioning from black and white to full, vibrant color. CBS wanted to celebrate this upgrade by shooting a brand new, ultra-polished version of the iconic opening showdown. They gathered the crew on the CBS Studio City backlot, set up the cameras, and prepared to shoot the classic duel. James Arness stood at his mark, ready to face off against actor and legendary quick-draw advisor Arvo Uhala, who played the mysterious challenger in black. But Arness, who was a notorious practical joker behind the scenes, was tired of the endless repetitive takes. He had performed this exact showdown hundreds of times, and he wanted to have some fun. On one of the live color takes, as the director yelled action and the cameras rolled, both men reached for their holstered revolvers. But instead of Matt Dillon drawing his gun with lightning speed and winning the duel, Arness deliberately delayed his draw. Arvo Uhala pulled his weapon first, firing a blank round. Instantly, James Arness clutched his chest, let out a dramatic groan, and collapsed flat on his back, dead in the middle of the Dodge City street. The entire crew stood frozen in absolute shock. The invincible hero of television, the man who had survived dozens of gunfights and represented the unshakable force of justice in America, was lying face up in the dirt, completely defeated. Arness burst out laughing, but the executives at CBS did not find it funny at all. In their eyes, this footage was highly dangerous. If this outtake was ever leaked, or worse, if a tired editor accidentally spliced this take into a broadcast master, it would have caused nationwide panic among millions of devoted fans who tuned in every week to see their hero triumph. The network immediately ordered the footage to be locked away, hidden from the public eye, for decades. It was an unexposed moment of pure rebellion, a hilarious look behind the gruff, stoic exterior of James Arness, and a reminder of how thin the line truly was between a serious television drama and absolute behind-the-scenes chaos. But the physical reality of making Gunsmoke was often far more painful and difficult than the light-hearted pranks would suggest. James Arness was a real-life war hero, having served in the United States Army during World War II. During the invasion of Anzio in 1944, Arness was severely wounded by machine gun fire in his right leg and foot, an injury that left him with chronic, agonizing pain and a permanent limp for the rest of his life. For an actor starring in a physically demanding Western, this was a massive obstacle. To maintain the illusion of Marshal Matt Dillon's towering, invulnerable physical presence, the production team had to go to extraordinary lengths. Arness wore a specially designed boot with a massive 4-inch lift to balance his gait, and the directors had to carefully stage every single scene to minimize his walking. They would shoot him standing stationary, leaning against a bar, or already mounted on his horse, strictly organizing the daily filming schedule around his physical stamina. This commitment to grit and realism extended far beyond the physical challenges of the cast. The early seasons of Gunsmoke, heavily influenced by their mature radio origins, pushed the absolute limits of what was acceptable on network television. A prime example is the incredibly bleak 1958 episode titled The Cabin. In this episode, Matt Dillon is trapped inside a snowbound cabin with two violent psychopathic outlaws who have committed horrific acts of violence, including the implied assault and murder of an innocent young woman. The episode was shockingly dark for its time, defying the family-friendly, sanitized conventions of typical 1958 television. CBS sponsors were terrified of the backlash, but the show's creators refused to back down, insisting that the West was a brutal, unforgiving place, and that the show had to reflect that harsh reality. This relentless dedication to mature storytelling and high production values is what kept Gunsmoke at the top of the ratings for an unprecedented 20 years. But in the end, it was not a drop in ratings or a lack of viewer interest that killed the show. It was a sudden, quiet, corporate betrayal. In 1975, as the cast and crew were wrapping up the filming of the 20th season with an episode titled The Sharecroppers, they fully expected to return for a 21st season. They had no idea that they were filming the final episode of the series. CBS, looking to shift its programming toward more modern urban demographics, decided to cancel the show abruptly without giving the creators any warning. James Arness and the rest of the cast found out about the cancellation not from a phone call from network executives, but by reading it in the morning newspapers. It was a cold, unceremonious end to a 20-year legacy that had defined American television. These hidden details, from the accidental modern airplanes flying over 19th century Dodge City to the forbidden footage of Matt Dillon's comedic death, do not ruin the legacy of Gunsmoke. Instead, they make it infinitely more fascinating. They pull back the curtain on the monumental effort required to manufacture the myth of the American West, showing us the real, flawed humans behind the iconic characters. Once you know what to look for, you realize that the world of Dodge City was never as perfect as it seemed. And that is exactly what makes it so unforgettable. If you want to uncover more shocking, hidden truths behind the golden age of classic television, make sure to look at our next deep dive, where we reveal the forbidden, locked-away secrets that almost destroyed another iconic show.